It wasn't just, hey, do you want to come do porn? It was more so, oh, you're beautiful. Like, would you like to do some modeling? Oh, you know, you have a great body. Like, I think you'd be great in nude modeling.
How do you know if I have a great body? I'm fully clothed right now.
Things like that. And after I came and toured the studio, you know, it was very respectable. It was a gorgeous location. It was in Miami, in Doral, Florida. It was clean. Everyone who worked there was nice. All of their cubicles were decorated with family photos. Like, it was nothing.
She signed the paperwork, came back the next day, filmed her first scene, and a month in, they...
What the fuck? Yo, you wanna do nude modeling and then you end up with someone's sausage in your mouth? What? How does that happen? How does that work? She didn't explain nothing. How corn became the American dream. Video by Moon. We all know them times, if you're a young man, you get online, you're scrolling through Instagram or whatever your social media of your choosing, you're liking, right? And you see, oh dang, hold up, this looks like you see a crazy picture or something. You go check the profile of this woman and you see that link. Oh yeah, I'm taking 2 steps back. She got a link in her shit. The audacity to you're taken aback. You put a link in your, oh yeah, I'm off this page. For some of y'all like, oh, hopefully she got that link in there. And you go and see it and you get giddy. Your knees get weak. You like, oh shit, let me, and you pay for it. That's the reality we are now. And that right there, the second type of guy is the one that are making these women rethink their regular lives and think about getting into what's it called. Without further ado, like my video, hype my video. If you like this video, you press this video, you're gonna like the rest of my videos. Go tap in. And let's get straight to the video.
She been command me.
Today, there's no better way to become rich, famous, and celebrated in modern culture than by making porn videos. Look at the porn stars from days gone by. They mostly ended up dead, addicted to drugs, or washed up on the back streets in downtown LA somewhere. Now look at Mia Khalifa. She's a multi-millionaire who hosted shows with NBA legends, sat front row at Paris and Milan fashion weeks, modeled for Vivienne Westwood and Moschino, runs her own jewelry business, and has been interviewed by basically every major outlet on earth.
What I will say to get this out the way is that I didn't know who she was until after she was, well, like maybe after, like I didn't, you know, growing up, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not in the know. I didn't know who this person was. I would hear that name, and I remember the first time I heard that name was maybe like not a few years ago, but like well into, like I was like high school or something, like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like Wiz Khalifa daughter or sister or something like that. I'm thinking Wiz Khalifa's sister does, you know, when I'm hearing them talk about it. And because I didn't ask, and I had to do my own research and was like, oh, she not related to Wiz. It was trash.
She was a paralegal from a Lebanese family, and she didn't churn out film for years. She just claimed she made 11 of them over a few months. And within a few weeks of her debut, she was the #1 performer on the biggest adult site in the world, where she received death threats, was shunned from her religion, and her family stopped speaking to her.
ISIS was after you?
I'm not allowed back in Lebanon. I was banned from the Middle East.
Which is crazy, because they're the ones who watch my videos the most.
They like, yeah, she not coming back here. She not coming back here. Hold up. At night they like this. Hold on. That new Mia Khalifa just dropped. Hold up. That new Mia. Hold on. Let me see. Shit, that new Mia just dropped. Boy, you see that new Mia? Yeah, Banner. That's how they coming. Two-Face.
Then she walked away from the industry forever after making just $12,000, or at least that's what she claimed.
You were paid a grand total of $12,000 US, and yet you made millions and millions of dollars for both Bang Bros, the company that you worked with, and Pornhub, the aggregating site. How could that be?
That's just how it is.
But between then and now, Mia Khalifa, like so many others, has used porn to become, in every sense of the word, famous. Not infamous, but legitimately famous, rubbing shoulders with A-listers and getting invited to their cocktail parties. Something huge happened in the world of adult content to create a pipeline to status and generational wealth. For Sarah Jo Chamoun, which is Mia's real name, she grew up right alongside the internet, and more specifically at a turning point for the sex industry.
I mean, I'm a kid who grew up playing World of Warcraft and using dial-up internet and fixing the computer at home when it broke. Like, that was my job because I was of that generation. So I think that I've always had a knack.
Pretty sure that's all of us. Your parents are like, I don't want to deal with them settings. Y'all come over here and... My mom gave me the remote one time and said, change the channel. I was like, what? And then you just realize, okay, you're not going to be here one day. And you like, it's my mom. I'm finna go do it. You know what I'm saying?
For what I like to consume online, which in turn influenced how I like to be online.
Adult content back then was an analog affair, driven by VHS tapes, magazines, and adult video stores. The money was limited and controlled by the gatekeepers. Performers like Mia got paid per scene, with no way to self-publish or go independent. And like so many others, she was pulled off the street in Miami by a random man who asked if she thought about modeling, suggesting she come down to a studio and take a look around. The studio was Bang Bros, one of the leading studios at the time.
It wasn't just, hey, do you want to come do porn? It was more so, oh, you're beautiful. Like, would you like to do some modeling? Oh, you know, you have a great body. Like, I think you'd be great in nude modeling.
How do you know if I have a great body? I'm fully clothed right now.
Things like that. And after I came and toured the studio, you know, it was very respectable. It was a gorgeous location. It was in Miami, in Doral, Florida. It was clean. Everyone who worked there was nice. All of their cubicles were decorated with family photos. Like, it was nothing.
She signed the paperwork, came back the next day, filmed her first scene, and a month in, they...
What the fuck? Yo, you want to do nude modeling and then you end up with someone's sausage in your mouth? What? How does that happen? How does that work? She didn't explain nothing. This is how it happened. They actually just said, "Oh, do you want to do modeling? I want to take pictures. Like, do you want to take pictures? Like, you look like you would do good at nude modeling. Okay, so take it down, and I'm gonna put this in you real quick. Cover your ears if you're not of age." How do you do? Like, she didn't explain any of that process. How did you say yes? What they tell you? How did they convince you?
put her in a hijab, which
Oh, they didn't convince you. Okay.
was incredibly controversial but decisive for her career. She told the studio that the video was going to get her killed.
I verbatim told them, you guys are going to get me killed.
And they said,
They just laughed.
She did it anyway, and after it premiered, the avalanche started. Radical Islamic sympathizers hacked her Instagram and covered it in propaganda. They photoshopped a picture of her onto someone being beheaded. Her family disowned her.
They photoshopped a picture of me onto someone getting beheaded. And they said something along the lines of, you're next.
She quit less than a month later, but none of this blew over like she hoped it would, and she couldn't get back into regular employment.
I realized that I can never work a normal job again.
Bang Bros disputed her account.
Hell no. They gonna think it's a scene. They see you at the Dunkin' Donuts. They gonna be like, oh shit, I've seen this scene before. Hold on. Can I have the donut hole? You know what I'm saying? They gonna
Of her career,
You
and
can't
her
have a regular
argument that
job.
They ripped her off. They eventually created a website dedicated to calling her out, called factspeakfiction.co, pushing back on her claims and stating that they paid her over $178,000. They even said she filmed before with a different studio under the name Mia Khalifa before Bang Bros, and that her entire narrative was just a total lie. She claimed she walked away from adult content with her head held high, but adult content hadn't walked away from her, so naturally there was only one way to climb back up the ladder, and OnlyFans took over the entire industry at that exact moment. When Mia joined OnlyFans in 2020, she framed it as
OnlyFans been around since 2020? I thought OnlyFans was like 2020, not 23. Yeah, maybe like 2023 or something like that. I'm out the loop. I ain't gonna lie.
As a moral response to the Beirut port explosion that killed 218 people in her home country, she publicly pledged to donate the first $100,000 she made on the platform.
In 2020, I decided to join OnlyFans after the Beirut
They still not gonna let you in.
blast. I made the decision to join OnlyFans and donate. If I was able to make $100,000, I am donating $100,000, and that's why I'm joining this platform.
It doesn't take a very high level of skepticism to wonder whether that was true or just ethical positioning. But either way, it clearly worked out for her career. This is where Mia Khalifa became the bridge between two completely different worlds. The old world of adult content that chewed the old porn stars up and spat them out, leaving them in places like the tunnels under Las Vegas. And then there's the new world of adult content that makes celebrity entrepreneurs. Let's take Sophie Rain. In 2022, she was a 19-year-old waitress.
I don't get how like Sophie, like I don't get it. And I know there's some of y'all that are like me. I don't understand it. Like, what are y'all seeing? And the fact that you guys are able out to like buy, y'all are just insane to me. Y'all are insane.
Barely covering her bills. She didn't come from an adult entertainment background, but OnlyFans was still her exit.
My sister was doing OnlyFans, and I was like, maybe I'll try it so I can get out of this serving job, because I was just serving. I was working literally every day, 9 to 5.
Restaurant?
It's called Papa Joe's. It was some Italian restaurant down in Tampa. But it was fun. Like, I loved it. I loved serving, but I just wasn't making money.
It all kicked off with her infamous Spider-Man video.
Every time I was like, no, it's not me. No, it's not me. They're like, no, you're lying. It is. So I just kind of ran with it.
It wasn't even her, but she made about $95 million in 3 years from a case of mistaken identity.
I'd be up there on day one saying, it's me. Give me your money. Give me your money. It's me. And never post nothing. And just keep serving. That's just free. That's free bread. You don't have to. I mean, she leaned into it and doubled down and do what you want. But I'm just saying, I'm not going in OnlyFans.
So in 3 years, how much?
Every guy I talk to always says, you know, if I was a girl, I would just do OnlyFans, shake some ass and, you know what I'm saying? And the guys will say, oh, she has an OnlyFans. What the fuck? So that's insane.
Have you made?
I think the last time I checked, it was at $95 million.
Holy.
Here's what really happened. In September 2023, Sophie and her sister Sierra posted a Spider-Man themed photo set on their OnlyFans. Around the same time, another creator called Naomi, who happens to look like Sophie, filmed an explicit video in a skin-tight black Spider-Man suit. The internet saw the photo set and the explicit video and conflated the two. Millions of men became convinced Sophie had secretly leaked hardcore content. She clocked that it was free traffic and started dressing up as Spider-Man on TikTok to deliberately stoke the rumor. There is no real Sophie Rain's Spider-Man video. The whole thing is a fantasy that lived in the minds of her audience. She also created scarcity around her content by describing herself as a virgin, though she backtracked on that a year later. I don't think people talk enough about how much these addictions bring it alongside. You should scan the queue. Definitely not out there doing what Point Blue is doing, which epitomizes exactly what adult content has become, selling the fantasy of.
Don't get mad. Y'all was mad at me when I was like, yo, this is a demon right? Look, she has. Y'all was defending her to the end of the earth, to the earth's edge. Because you're that dumb to defend her. You think the earth is flat. I would say something like, yo, she's crazy. Y'all go check my other video. It's like months ago when I kind of first started YouTube. It was like, y'all was like, oh, she doesn't have a soul. How you gonna say she don't have a soul? What are you talking about? No, I'm like, damn, y'all definitely know you guys are paying for her shit. Y'all be like, oh, I'd be like, who are keeping these people afloat to continue doing these endeavors in life? It's y'all who are defending. It's y'all. I can see it.
Personal access to an attractive woman. Sophie now has 16 million Instagram followers. When she walks through a shopping mall in Miami, paparazzi camp outside to ask her about her rumored collab with Drake. The mansion she co-founded with 7 other OnlyFans creators was described in the mainstream press as the Gen Z version of the Playboy Mansion. She's constantly associated with big celebrity events. The industry has
Shaq just down bad.
Swallowed itself and given birth to something entirely new. A monetized intimacy economy where the content can be softer, the stigma lower, and the money exponentially bigger, all while the sexual acts are actually increasingly optional.
What the f are the guys paying for at that point?
It's curiosity, and then also
With that
like
specific person?
Yeah.
I guess, right? Yeah.
yeah, because you can sit there and have a conversation with me, you know? Like you don't get that just from going on Instagram.
Mia got paid $12,000 for explicit permanent graphic content. Sophie got paid $1.4 million by one man for messages. And that was back in 2025. It's over $6 million now.
I want to say last time I checked, it was like 1.4.
Wow. Wow.
But that was like, that's of all
My
time.
God.
That's of all time. And I've been doing this for going on 2 years now.
Who the f is this guy? That's got to be like a fucking Middle Eastern prince.
I can't say much obviously because I'm not going to air anyone's shit out.
Yeah.
But he's a good guy.
Rightly or wrongly, it still destroyed aspects of her social
This music is too loud in my ears. I don't know about y'all.
life. Her parents both got fired and she became their provider.
Oh no, if I'm the parents, I'm hiding my face. I'm not gonna lie. I'm hiding my face. Well, so, she not doing nothing. She be twerking and stuff. Everybody twerk, right? I don't know what she does necessarily. I don't know like if she really be like naked and stuff. How OnlyFans, y'all know how OnlyFans creators get. You walking down the street, it's a random video walking, and then they just come out ass everywhere. Boom, ass everywhere, and they're like, no, and their act comes on. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff. Does she do that? If not, then I'm like, okay. Because if she don't do nothing and she's literally just taking pictures and stuff, I can see where you could come around to accepting your daughter making $1 million, 90 million, 95 million. Yeah, you could see that. But anything else, I'd be like, nah, I don't know.
Right now, like
I love you to death, boy. I love you to death, girl. But like, I love you under the table. Like I'm not gonna really show my face. Yeah, I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is my kid. I'm not doing that. Call me old school. That's how I feel.
I'm supporting them completely. They both got fired from their jobs because of me. So I feel a little bit of guilt in that, and like I feel like I need to provide for them also because my fault, I guess.
Sophie Rain built an empire on a video that never existed, but a couple of years before that, a young actress called Chloe Cherry ran the inverse strategy for the same result. She'd moved to Miami the week she turned 18 to do adult content, and spent the next few years becoming one of the most watched performers on Pornhub. Then during lockdown, she filmed a pornographic parody of HBO's teen drama Euphoria. Not long after, the real creator of the genuine Euphoria emailed her asking her to audition for the show. She got the part, again proving how porn can scaffold women to a new.
Y'all probably know this because y'all be watching TV shows. I don't be watching Netflix and Euphoria. I don't. Where she really got on, what's it called? This is not even about her necessarily. Shout out to the person who's seeking talent in every venue. Because how'd you know about her? How'd you find her out, buddy? Freaky ass nigga. You know you freaky ass boy. But look, I rock with that when people like, look, you don't always got to go to the best of this and that academy and acting. Give somebody a shot. And give somebody a shot. You never know. You might spark something in them to where they will take it as serious and become something, or if they're interested, or you know what I'm saying. It's just like there's talent everywhere. When you limit yourself to accolades and all this subjective objectiveness in things, like acting class is subjective based off your teacher's, opinion on how well you did it, and that's what we take as objective. You graduated from Yale, you're smart. Nah, yeah, I'm smart, but it's really based off my professors that grade on my, you know what I'm saying? I rock with that from the director or whatever.
Path in life. Within months of her first episode airing, she'd walked New York and Milan Fashion Week, fronted a Versailles campaign, and starred in the music video for Charli XCX's 360. In just under a year, she went from being the most watched woman on a specific hub category to being a face the fashion industry was actively competing for. This isn't entirely new. 20 years before OnlyFans existed, a young LA socialite proved that a leaked sex tape didn't have to end a woman's career. It could actually build one.
Is this let me guess. What's her name? She's blonde, right? Is she blonde? No, she's not blonde. I probably got it wrong. What's her name?
That woman was Kim Kardashian, one of the
shit. Of course, no, not
most
her.
widely known names on the planet. The promiscuity of people like herself and Paris Hilton was creating sex entrepreneurs without going through the porn industry. It was classier, more refined, and more marketable. The Kardashian tape was filmed with her then boyfriend Ray J in 2003. It went public in February 2007. At the time, an explicit video of a young woman with no particular fame or career wasn't viewed as the norm like it might be today. When these tapes leaked, they were massive news stories, and the entertainment industry was paying very close attention. Because somewhere in the media frenzy that followed, someone in a boardroom ran the calculations. And the math said that what happened to Kim Kardashian could be converted with the right packaging into one of the most lucrative television deals of the decade. Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered 8 months later and propelled the whole family to the center of celebrity culture for nearly a decade. Today, Kim Kardashian's worth roughly $1.7 billion.
But she also has had made the right decisions going through all of this. She didn't just stumble upon it. Oh, I made this video, and she made the right decisions. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even a fan of Kim. I'm not gonna lie. She's actually annoying and all that Kanye stuff. And she made me not like Kanye too. But what I will say is she did make right business decisions and went about everything the right way. Like, you respect. Hard work is hard work. I'm not hating on people getting money.
And the tape that kicked it all off is a mere footnote in her CV.
Would you be where you are had there not been a sex tape?
I just honestly, what I don't like, and I feel like the reason why I don't like Kim is because literally everybody, all these women love Kim Kardashian, especially all women, right? And you will hear these women bash other people, bash other women about their bodies and stuff, and then turn around and glaze Kim Kardashian like she didn't do. Oh, all y'all got fake asses and crazy BBLs and injection and implants and the breasts and lips look great. You know what I'm saying? All of this. Look at Kim and be like, really be reposting her saying just a goddess, just a goddess. Oh, the way Kim walk. Oh, the way this is just beauty. You know what I'm saying? I see it. I'm like, the fuck? Y'all can't give the other lady credit. Y'all can give a different lady, a regular person, credit. And she gonna deflate her ass in 2 weeks, and your ass set an appointment for 2 weeks to get the same procedure. Y'all not gonna look the same. She got you. She got you. Hit a double on it.
You know, I think that's how I was definitely introduced to the world. It was a negative way. So I felt like I really had to work 10 times harder to get people to see the real me.
She's quite honest about Impact, saying the worst part wasn't the humiliation itself, but having to explain the tape to her grandmother. She says she was grateful her father had died 4 years earlier and didn't live to see it.
I had to explain that to my grandmother. So I think I was more...
And you're most glad you didn't have to explain it to...
my father.
Which is basically a premonition of how many OnlyFans models feel today. OnlyFans relies on publicity and self-promotion. You can't easily shoot scenes under an alias and hide them as a double life. What Kim had
Hi bitch, I get up the rolly.
Inadvertently proved is that attention itself is the asset, and you need to market yourself as a person. Whatever generates the attention is almost secondary. The market logic of modern porn rewards whatever generates the most clicks, and everything else is downstream of that rule. Which is exactly why marketing stunts are getting more controversial and extreme. The Hall of Fame today looks more like an arms race where performers compete for a share of the audience's attention. Like in 2019 when Belle Delphine sold jars of her own bath water for $35 each. She faked her own arrest with a photoshopped Metropolitan Police mugshot and briefly ran a account that turned out to be videos of 2 roosters. Her whole thing was just absurdist performance art dressed up as sex work, and it made her one of the most famous e-girls on the internet. In 2021, a 17-
That's who that is. I've heard that name. That's who that is. I know this one right here.
Called Bad Barbie, who had become briefly famous on Dr. Phil for telling the audience to catch her outside, teased her OnlyFans launch for weeks on Instagram. She then opened the account the day she turned 18 and made $1 million in 6 hours. Lil Tay would then follow in her footsteps years later. In May 2025, an Australian creator called Annie Knight hired a swingers club on the Gold Coast and had sex with 583 men in 6 hours. She was then hospitalized with vaginal bleeding and posted to the hospital.
Vaginal bleeding. Why would you do that to yourself? Like, why?
Photo to Instagram captioned, "I guess 583 guys in a day isn't that good for your body." In October 2024, the 23-year-old British model called Lily Phillips invited 101 men into an Airbnb and had sex with all of them in a single day. She filmed it as a documentary. A clip of her crying afterwards, her friend's arm.
Damn, that was 2024. That was 25. I swear that was like a few months
Around
ago.
her got 200 million views in one tweet. She has then since faked a pregnancy, faked an arrest, filmed a classroom roleplay with 18-year-olds, and announced she'd be beating the existing world record by sleeping with 1,000 men in a day. And then, of course,
you will die. Try that. You will die. You will die. And you catching something too. You're catching the what's the new virus? Hayak? What is it? From the cruise ship? That shit just dropped yesterday. You finna get that. Trust me.
there's Bonnie Blue, who took the record of 1,057 men in 12 hours. She also faked a pregnancy and will risk arrest, deportation, or practically anything to stay relevant. And somehow this has gotten her on the podcast circuit.
They said she was a man. Y'all think she was a man? I can kind of see the manly facial structure. Y'all think she was a man before? I'm not saying she was, like she was trans, but I'm just saying for a girl, I can see her manly features.
Like all of these girls. These stunts echo the much wider trend across social media where AI slop and brain rot content dominate for their acute ability to hijack our dopamine. Mr. Beast, Sidemen, and others mastered that formula with escalating challenges that became more and more outrageous, leaving nothing off the table in the pursuit of attention. It's all pervasive, and adult entertainment naturally made a home in social media's algorithmic universe because ramping up the shock value is so easy when it's someone's body. Behind all of these stunts is usually an incredibly well-engineered business that proves how much porn has transformed. They have staff, a logistics operation, and marketing budgets rivaling tech startups. Probably the biggest weapon they have in their marketing arsenal is those who oppose them.
It's all the Karens sat at home that are going to complain about me being here that are making me rich because they make it blow up. And then when they're sat at home complaining about it to their, their husbands, they're then...
That's word of mouth, which is the most dangerous thing in advertising or marketing that you could get. You can't pay people to do word of mouth. It is that difficult. So you hating doing it. You going, you know how many times I probably heard someone say something about somebody to me, like complain. I'm like, oh, okay. And I go and see it. I said, oh, this is what what's the call was talking about. And I'm rocking with the content. Oh, this is actually, it's not bad. He was tripping. You know what I'm saying? But like, if that was, I would have just skipped it.
wanting to come and subscribe.
Putting their self-destructive elements of the lifestyle aside for a moment, they're savvy operators who understand the algorithm, the incentives, and the market better than anyone. Sophie Rain's instinct to leverage a video that wasn't even hers is annoyingly smart. Bonnie Blue will hang around any big influencer of the time, whether it be Andrew Tate or the Nelk Boys, as she knows doing so will keep the money pumping into her operation. Mia Khalifa found a way to make herself look innocent in front of mainstream audiences. And this is why culture had to stop ignoring them. Every magazine, podcast, and TV channel is starving for attention, and these women are sitting on more of it than anyone else in the room.
Like, they will do interviews saying, so why'd you do the 1,000 men in a day? Go on this podcast and say, why are you doing 1,000? Like, what was going through, saying the same thing, giving the same answers. It's ridiculous. Like, when people say, take away these mics, nah, you really gotta take away these mics from people. Doing the exact same thing.
Ignoring them doesn't make them go away, it just hands the traffic to whoever covers them instead. So the commercial decision becomes to platform them, like when Bonnie Blue said this on UK daytime TV when anyone could have been watching.
You're like a Premiership footballer. You're balls.
I mean, I work with balls, so it's the same
There we
thing.
go.
So, barely legal, 18-year-olds. Because as I started my content, I realized it was not necessarily relatable to the average person. And I wanted to make my content relatable. I'm just a girl, I'm relatable, I'm sort of the girl next door vibes.
People commented things like, interviewing a prostitute at 10:35 a.m. is okay for family viewing?
That's what I'm saying. You get ready for school. Well, not 10 a.m. But, it's just just weird random times. And she just talking about, I do with balls. I would have been in the kitchen making a sandwich like, huh? What? What are you watching? Looked at what my mom is watching. We're like, what are you watching? Why they got her up here?
And how can they have this conversation on morning TV as if it's normal? Imagine if you were a kid watching that asking your parents who Bonnie Blue was, and what she meant by working with balls or switching to barely 18-year-olds. But there is another side far away from this very public layer that we've not yet explored. Because while the conversation has spent the last decade arguing about whether those women are empowered or exploited, two-dimensional or sophisticated, victims or villains, the really smart ones are those who built the industry. You can almost certainly picture some of the girls in this video. You know what Mia looks like, you know what Kim looks like, you'd recognize Bonnie Blue in a supermarket. These are some of the most visible people alive. The men who own the platforms they work on, however, are notoriously invisible. When Mia Khalifa was filming for Bang Bros in late 2014, Bang Bros was independent, but was soon rolled up into a vast internet empire backed by institutional cash and managed by faceless executives. The parent structure behind most of her distribution was a Canadian-operated conglomerate called MindGeek, which owned Pornhub, YouPorn, RedTube, Brazzers, and several hundred other sites, all controlled through a network of shell companies across the world. One of its recent owners, a guy called Bernd Bergmair, wasn't known to the media or photographed in public until recently. MindGeek wasn't just built for the love of the game, it was backed with nearly $500 million from JP Morgan Chase, among other major investors. And weirdly,
what I'm saying is, isn't it don't gotta be legal who's working, but like, isn't that like regular practice? Like, I don't know. I thought you should have to know who's working.
Even Cornell University, the same institutional capital that
you got to be able to like write it down or have pictures everywhere. Like, you have to. That should be a law.
Stakes in Meta, ByteDance, and Google is also indirectly exposed to the adult platforms and the companies that profit from them, which means ordinary people's retirements are, in very small and very diffuse ways, invested in the same economy that Bonnie Blue is helping to expand. OnlyFans is the next level, springing out of the studios and making the girls do most, if not all, of the legwork. And when you look at what OnlyFans really is, it looks exactly like Amazon, Fiverr, or DoorDash. Thousands of near identical thumbnails of near identical women doing near identical poses, all fighting for the same attention, all undercutting each other on price, all promising more than the last one. It personifies the direction of today's tech industry.
How many of these women and ladies are just doing it for the love of the game, not making shit? That's something that they don't talk about. There's some people that I know that were going down rabbit holes, you know, stripper, or they doing, you know what I'm saying, growing up. I don't think anybody did OnlyFans, or maybe not. I think one person I've known and like as a kid is doing OnlyFans right now, but she's obviously not popular. I don't think. I wouldn't know. I didn't go in and check, but like, you can tell by the prices. You selling what video for what? $7? This was like 2023, 22. I'm like, whoa, this is insane. Let me get off this. Get my ass in trouble. Without further ado, man, I appreciate y'all for watching. Let me know what y'all think about this down below in the comment section. If you're a lady, it sucks because you gotta grow up in a time like this where you're being pressured, or there's like this, not being pressured by people because everybody's against it, it seems like in real life, but this mental pressure with yourself, and you have to say like, all right, am I just gonna go against everybody and try and make it and try and get this money and do it regardless of what anybody says, and then stop or whatever, or do I just not do it? Your ass needs to take one more option into account, and it's you're gonna do it and you're not gonna make the money you think. Now, you did it for not as much money, or not for money, for you did it for free and it's out there. So you're living the worst of both lives. You know what I'm saying? Without further ado, I like you to death. I appreciate y'all for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, binge my videos, hype my videos. I love you guys very much. W5KW video. I'm gonna see you in the next one. I'm gone.